Good morning, crime community. I'm here to read out Poisoner in Chief. It's the conclusion of chapter Operation Midnight Climax. In 1955, Georgetown University Hospital in Washington announced plans to construct a 6-story, 100-bed addition called Gorman Annex. Gottlieb took note. He was funding many of his MKUltra sub-projects, like Gorman Annex, through dummy foundations and had to take precautions to ensure that the scientists involved did not learn the true source of their funding. This restriction is freedom of action. He wanted his own research hospital, a medical safe house inside the United States where the CIA scientists, not outsiders, could conduct experiments. The announcement from Georgetown gave him his chance. Gottlieb conceived that the idea of secretly playing part of the $3 million cost of German Arnex in exchange for access to its medical facilities. In a memo to his superiors, he proposed that the CIA contribute $375,000 to the building project, through which be matched by any other federal funds since it would be funneled through a cutout and appeared to be a charitable donation. In exchange, he wrote, 1/6 of the total space in the new hospital wing will be available to the chemical division of TSS, whereby providing laboratories and office space, technical assistance, equipment, and experimental animals. He listed 4 justifications that would become MKUltra's Subproject 35. A. Agency employees would be able to participate in the work without the university of the hospital authorizing being aware of agency interests. B. Agency sponsorship of sensitive research projects will be completely deniable. C. Full professional cover will be provided for up to 3 biochemical employees of the chemical division. D. Human patients and volunteers for experimental use will be available under controlled clinical conditions. It is a relatively routine procedure to develop a drug to the point of human testing, Gottlieb concluded. Ordinarily, the drug houses depend upon the services of private physicians for the final clinical testing. The physicians are willing to assume the responsibility of such tests in order to advance the science of medicine. It is difficult and sometimes impossible for TCC/CD to offer such an inducement with respect to its products. In practice, it has been possible to use outside clearing contractors for the preliminary phases of this work. However, this part, which involves human testing at effective dose levels, presents security problems, which cannot be handled by ordinary contractor. The proposed facility offers a unique opportunity for the secure handling of such clinical testing, in addition to the many advantages outlined in the project proposal. The security problems mentioned above are eliminated by the fact that the responsibility for testing will result completely upon the physician and the hospital. Excellent professional cover would be provided for up to 3 biochemical employees of the chemical division of the TS. This would allow open attendance at scientific meetings, the advancement of personal standing in the scientific world, and as such would constitute a major efficiency and moral booster. Gottlieb's proposal to create a secret CIA laboratory inside an established Washington hospital to be used for experiments on human subjects was extraordinary even by MKUltra standards. Richard Helms, his unofficial boss, passed the decision up to Alan Dulles. Even more extraordinary, Dulles, according to the researcher John Marks, took it to President Eisenhower. Special committee to review covert operations. The committee also gave its assent, and the CIA money was forthcoming. This was, Marks wrote, the only time in a whole quarter of a century agency behavior, control activities, when the documents show that the CIA officials went to the White House for approval of anything. Little is known about the experiments that CIA scientists conducted at Gorman Annex, although the agency later confirmed that terminal ill patients were among the subjects. Pressed for details 2 decades later, Director of Central Intelligence Stanfield Turner replied, This is no factual evidence of what went on. It is just missing. It is not that it didn't happen. Almost no one, even in the highest reaches of the government, knew of Gottlieb's work or even of his existence. At the CIA, however, a handful of senior officers knew enough to connect him to LSD. Gottlieb took his certain pride in this. He liked to tell a story about the time he was walking down the aisle of a plane carrying a cocktail. To his shock, one passenger asked quietly as he passed by, "Is that LSD you're drinking?" He turned and saw that the inquirer was Allen Dulles. At the end of 1955, Dulles decided it was time to share broad outlines of the CIA's ultra secret with someone else. He composed a modestly revealing report and sent it to Secretary of Defense Charles Wilson. Whether he was genuinely seeking to keep a senior colleague informed or simply wanted to limit the liability in case things went wrong, his report is among the few CIA documents to describe MKUltra while it is still underway. For the past 4 years, the Central Intelligence Agency has been actively engaged in research on a group of powerful chemicals affecting the human mind called psychochemicals. We have developed extensive professional contacts, experience, and a considerable amount of information on many psychochemicals, including in particular a material known as LSD. This agency is continuing its interest in this field, and in the light of its accumulated experience, offers its cooperation and assistance to research and development programs which the Department of Defense is considering at this time. Since 1951, the year that Stephen McElwain was born, this agency has carried out a program of research which has provided important information on the nature of abnormal behavior produced by LSD and the way this affects varies with such factors as size of dose, differences in the individual and environment. The behavioral effects of repeated doses given over a long time have been studied. We have established that individuals may develop a tolerance to LSD. In search of possible antidotes is being made. It has been found that LSD reproduces remarkable mental effects when taken in exceedingly small doses. This foregoing became increasingly interesting when it was recently discovered that LSD could be synthesized in quantity. There are many characteristics of LSD and other psychochemicals which either have not been studied or require further study. The degree of candor was, as far as Dulles is known to have gone, at least on paper. He fully understood that MKUltra could function only in absolute secrecy. The special interrogation sessions that it offers was conducting at clandestine prisons abroad. The extreme experiments it was sponsoring in hospitals and prisons, the national security whorehouse, was that at the center of Operation Midnight Climax, the secret financing of Gorman Annex, and a panoply of Gottlieb's other projects were among the American government's most highly classified programs. And any of them became public, the result might have been not just public outrage, might the end of MKUltra, even possibly even the CIA itself. One potential threat had died with Frank Olson. In the months that followed, a new one emerged. It became an unexpected quarter, the United States Congress. And then we're going to stop here, and it goes on to the Divine Mushroom, which talks about how Mike Mansfield went to Eisenhower and said, "We'd like to start checking out the CIA on the MKUltra program." Guess what Eisenhower said? "Over my dead body," is what he said. So we're going to stop reading The Poisoner in Chief now, I think. We're going to go back to the Manson file tomorrow. And we're going to study a file that seemed to have disappeared called the Scientology Missing Manson file. So we'll get into that tomorrow. If you enjoy my stream at all, please like and share and subscribe. Thank you.